Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
A serial sex attacker dubbed the Coronation Street rapist who was once Britain's most wanted man will find out today if he will be released from jail. Infamous criminal Andrew Barlow was handed 13 life sentences after a string of sex assaults on women and girls across 5 counties during the 1980s. The 68-year-old spent 34 years behind bars for 11 rapes, 3 attempted rapes, indecent assault and using a firearm to resist arrest. He was later found guilty of 2 more rapes in 2010 and 2017, committed during the 1980s. His final 2 convictions were for offenses committed in 1981 and 1982. In one of his vile crimes, he raped a woman in front of her 3-year-old child who was hiding behind the sofa. Barlow, dubbed the Coronation Street rapist because of the way he attacked his victims in their own terraced homes, was freed on parole in March last year, despite then Justice Secretary Dominic Raab attempting to halt his release. Barlow's initial release in 2023 left his victims furious after they campaigned tirelessly with their families to keep the rapist behind bars. Just 6 weeks later, he was hauled back to jail after breaching conditions, and now he has launched an attempt to try to win his freedom. Some of the more horrific offenses that Barlow, formerly known as Andrew Longmire, committed in his campaign of terror included of raping a 15-year-old girl by breaking into her home at around 8:45 a.m. when her parents had left the house. Barlow threatened the petrified girl with a knife before pulling her clothes off and raping her. The serial rapist would spend days carrying out reconnaissance on the victims' homes to work out their domestic routines. Knowing when a victim's partners or parents would leave for work allowed Barlow to attack the victims alone. The cold cases were eventually solved thanks to advances in DNA technology. Previously commenting on Barlow's appeal, a spokesman for the parole board said, "An oral hearing has been listed for the parole review of Andrew Barlow and is scheduled to take place in June 2024. Parole board decisions are solely focused on what risk a prisoner could represent to the public if released and whether that risk is manageable in the community. A panel will carefully examine a huge range of evidence, including details of the original crime, and any evidence of behavior change, as well as explore the harm done and impact the crime has had on the victims." Members read and digest hundreds of pages of evidence and reports in the lead-up to an oral hearing. The spokesman added evidence from witnesses including probation officers, psychiatrists and psychologists, officials supervising the offender in prison as well as victim personal statements are then given at the hearing. The prisoner and witnesses are then questioned at length during the hearing, which often lasts a full day or more. Parole reviews are undertaken thoroughly and with extreme care. Protecting the public is our #1 priority. Last year, a relative of a woman Barlow raped in her own home in Greater Manchester in 1987 told Manchester Evening News, "I took it on the chin in January and decided to get on with my life when Barlow was released. Now this animal is back in our lives again. We told the authorities and they didn't listen. Someone has to be accountable for this. It will mean all the victims and their families are reliving the agony again like we had to in January when we tried in vain to stop his release. We told the authorities he was too high a risk and we have been proven right. I will like to sit down with someone from the parole board face to face and tell them what happened to our family because of Barlow."